Okay, grade 12, here is another object-oriented programming question, November 2018. We have the user interface as displayed, there it is. And we have an incomplete object class called T-Restaurant. Let's go and have a look at it on our screen. Yeah, there's the class. How did we get that? We went to File and Open. And then you go to the folder where all where you opened your original program, and you'll see another unit.pas. Click on it, and then you click open, and then you'll see that come up. And here's the main program that you normally open, and here's the unit. Now, 3.1 deals with the incomplete object class, that unit, that T-Restaurant class. It's called restaurant underscore u. Can you see there? And in the main program it's declared in the user section. You write it in the user section. That's the main program. And here is the class definition. Unit restaurant underscore u, that's the name of how it is saved. But the actual class name is here, T-Restaurant, under the word type. So make sure you know the difference between the two. This word unit here is just the name of the file name, whereas the actual class name is called T-Restaurant. There it is, equals class. Then in private we have two fields. We have if name and if year open and if num employees. Two strings and one integer. And then there is a function toString, which returns a string, which has already been written over here. You'll see it over here. It says toString implemented. So basically you're building a string of all the private fields. If name, if num employees, and if year open. What are we talking about here? Well, this is a restaurant. If name is the name of the restaurant. If year open is the year that it opened in the format of YYYY, and it's a string. If num employees is the number of employees at the restaurant as an integer. Right, 3.1.1. Write code for a constructor method that's going to receive the name of the restaurant, the year the restaurant opened, and the number of employees, and assign these values to the respective attributes. Attributes are those private fields. So where do you write constructor create? You do not put it over here. No, no, no. You put it over here in the public section. Constructor create. It's going to receive a name, which will be a string data type, semicolon, year, which is also a string data type, but I didn't have to put it like that. I could have just put year inside this list. See, saving space, and then semicolon, and then another type of parameter is an integer that comes in here, because they asked us to put those three integers as those three parameters in. It says there the name, the restaurant, the name of the restaurant, the year that it opened, and the number of employees. You must know what the data types for those things are: string, string, integer. And what we're going to do is we're going to use those parameters to set the private field. So highlight it, Control-Shift-C, and then we say if name equals, if year opened equals, if num employees equals, okay, if name equals isName, what's coming in here, see that parameter list, and if year opened equals isYear, assignment statement, not equal here, remember the assignment colon equal, and if num employees colon equals inum. Where's inum coming from? The parameter list here. These items in the parameter list act like private variables. We're making these global variables, if name, if year opened, if num employees, equal to these variables that are in that list there. And that is what they said we must do for the first 3.1.1. Okay, 5 marks done. Write code for a method called getNumEmployees that's going to return the number of employees. So it's going to return something. So what do you think it's going to be? Function get num employees. It's going to return the number of employees, which is an integer. Is it going to have anything? No, it's just returning the number of employees. That's all. There's no parameters coming in. So you write function get number of employees integer. Return is a get method, which is a function. Highlighted Control-Shift-C, and you say result equals if num employees. You're actually returning the private field value if num employees. Okay, so there, that one. We'll be saying result equals if num employees. Next question. Write code for a method called increase num employees to receive an integer value as a parameter, and the number of employees is increased by the value received as a parameter. So if you're going to set the number of set something, what is that? That is a procedure. Set methods are procedures. If you change the private fields, you're normally using a procedure. The private fields being those attributes with the F in front of it, F for field. So we have to write a procedure called increase num employees that's going to receive an integer and is going to increase the number of employees by that integer. So it's a procedure. Take note, these are all being written in the public section. What's the name of the procedure called? Increase num employees. Increase num employees. And it's going to receive an integer, colon integer. We just write out whatever word we want to give our parameter. Can you see that? I'll just use the word INO as my parameter. So I'm highlighted, Control-Shift-C, and what we do is we say if num employees equals, so remember we're setting the private fields, if num employees equals previous if num employees plus this little variable that's going into this procedure, INO. In this case I call it INO. So you're just taking the previous number of employees and adding INO to it, and you're making it equal to that. See, you're setting if number of employees equal the previous if number of employees plus the new number that's going to be added. End of that one. 3 marks done. Write code. Here's a difficult one. For a method called compile code that receives the full name of an owner and compiles and returns identification code in this format. So it's going to receive a name. I'm going to call it S name or whatever I want to call it. So what is it going to do? Is it returning? It returns. So therefore it is a function. Function compile code. It's returning something. So I'll put it under all the others. Function compile code. It's receiving a string and it's returning a string. See that? I call it SN instead of S name. Okay, it receives a string and it returns a string in this format. So highlight it, Control-Shift-C, and now we're going to do something strange. We're going to set the first letter of the name of the restaurant. Right, when I want to compile a string, I always actually like to build a string and make a variable called, you know, whatever the thing is, snew. Make a little variable here, and I'll say snew equals an empty string, and then I'm going to say snew equals snew. I'm going to join that to first letter of the name of the restaurant. Remember, this is tricky. It's the name of the owner is coming into compile code, but we want the first letter name of the restaurant. So we have to go and worry about that. Is F, what is the name of the restaurant? F name. We have to remember that this class defines a restaurant, and F name is the name of the restaurant. What? F name? F name. There we go. And then the next thing we have to do, we have to go and put in the first two characters. Well, there's something else. Oh no, if name character number 1. Well, I forgot if name character number 1. Hey. So we've got the first character, first letter of the restaurant name, the last two letters of the full name of the owner. So the owner's name is coming in, full name, the last two letters. So we have to go and get the last two letters of the owner. So if that's the owner, we have to get those two letters there. So it's the length plus the length minus 1. So it's going to be SN. Where's the owner? Here's the owner there. SN is coming in to the compile code method because it says compile code receives the name of an owner. So I'm going to say SN character number length minus 1 plus SN character number length of SN. Ha, length. What is length? That is silly, hey? Length. The length returns an integer. So I'm declaring a little variable called ln, and I'm going to say ln equals length of sn. The string that's coming into this function there, sn, we get the length of it, store it into a variable called ln, and over here this is the character numbers that we are joining onto our new string. Okay. You don't have to do it this way, but I'm just doing it like that. Right, then we're going to add the year the restaurant opened, which is a string. Where do we get the year the restaurant opened? Here in our private fields. There it is, F year opened. So we just join that to the end. And we say S new equals the previous new plus F year opened, and luckily F year opened is a string, and that's why we can do it. And by the way, I didn't have to do this. I could have just said S new equals F name plus all of these three things plus F year opened, but I did have to get the length of the name. So this is what we come up with now. There it is. The name of the restaurant, first character. The last two characters of this name of the owner coming in here. And then the string called F year open right at the end. And then you say result equals SN. There it is. All done. And that is how many marks? 7. Right, now we're going to go to the incomplete unit question 3_u. Now the main program, in other words, it has an object variable obj restaurant. Let's go and find that. Now it's the main program. You do file and save all. You don't want to lose anything. Go to the main program, go and check out the code. What do we have here? Here's obj restaurant, a T restaurant object. So we're going to use obj restaurant. And in 3.2.1, the user must enter the name of the restaurant, the year open, the number of employees. Okay. And we have to write code to instantiate a restaurant object using the data that the people entered into these components. That one, and that one, and that one. SBN num employees, EDT open, and EDT company name. Right, so let's go and get those variables. VAR, S, company, S year, string, I, quantity, colon, integer. I'm purposely using variable names I haven't used before to show you. Right, so we're going to get our things. scomp equals edt company name dot text. S year equals edt year opened dot text, and I quantities are spin edit sed SPN, sorry, SPN num employees, SPN num employees dot value. Right, now we're going to call constructor create. How do we do it? First you quote OBJ restaurant name equals, and then you quote the class name T restaurant, there it is, T restaurant dot create, and there you see, look at the tooltips, the name first, the year, and then inum. Now the name of the company is SComp. The year that it opened is S year, this one here, SYR, comma. The quantity of employees is I quantity. In the constructor, in our class, it was called inum. Can you see the variable names are different, but the data types are the same. So you use these variables over here inside your list. We're in the main program, okay? So we've done that. We've created an instantiated that object. We created an instance of a class, in other words. Now they say use a toString method to display the details of the object in the rich edit component. So how do we do that? The red question 3 dot lines dot add open brackets. Now to use a toString method, which is over here, the main program, let's go to the main program. Here we are, there's our toString method. It's returning all of these things on different lines. Restaurant name plus +13 plus year open plus +13 number of employees, and then into string inum or fnum, sorry, fnum employees, the private fields all written here. This is in the class definition. Okay, this was written for us, but you might be asked to write this toString method. So study it carefully. Then we're going to go to the main program and use that function toString. How do we use functions? Well, we can call them in a rich edit.lines.add statement, not so. So that will be easy. So you add, but you can't just write toString. No, you have to write the object name obj restaurant dot, and then you click on toString. There, that's done. Right, next question, 3.2.2. The user must enter the full name of the owner in the edit box provided. Right. Okay, where is it? We're in the main program, full name of the owner, identification code. What are we going to do? Well, let's go and get the full name of the owner, var sfull :string. I'm going to say sfull equals, and it's edt owner name dot text. Now we got to call the function. I know it's a function, but do you know it's a function? Compile code method. Well, if you have a look carefully in your class definition, restaurant _u, compile code, we just wrote it, was a function, returns a string. So we have to use it on our right hand side of the equal sign or in a rich edit.lines.add statement. So we've got to display it in the edit box called edt id code. So you say edt id code dot text equals. Now you can't just call compile code method, you have to say obj restaurant dot compile code. There it is, and you look carefully, you'll see it's got a string in brackets, and we've got to put a string in here, sfull. Which string? The string from the edit box, edt owner name. There it is, that sfull there goes into the parameter list of compile code. So there's that done, and that's 3 marks. Next question, 3.2.3, and this is a long one. This is 10 marks, so it's going to be a bit more tricky. The user must enter the number of employees to be added to the edit box edt add. Let's go and have a look at our edit box. We're in 3.2.3 over here. So the number of employees is going to be entered in there. It's edt add. Right, let's go and get it. I'm going to make a variable here, var in colon int I. I'm going to call it I add, I to add, go on integer. I'm going to say I to add equals string to int edt add. What is the name of that edit box? Edt add dot text. So obviously string to int, eh? Right, so there's my integer variable. You can see it said var. Yes, there is a constant there. We have to use that constant. We make our own variables underneath it, but we are going to use that somewhere. Right, let's look at the question. The maximum number of employees at a restaurant is set to 40. Extract the number of employees from the edit box. Yes, 1 mark. Determine if the extract number can be added without exceeding the maximum number of employees. Right. So say if I to add plus, we must get the number of employees that we already are having at the restaurant. How are we going to get that? Over here in a function called get num employees. Can you see that function in the class definition? Yeah, we're in this other unit here now. Get num employees is right here. There it is. Returns f num employees. So if that plus, but we can't just say get num employees. No, we've got to say obj, because we're in the main program. This is the main program that's using that one. So we've got to say obj restaurant dot get num employees. So if you add that together and it is greater than I max employees, you've got to use the constant. You use the mark if you don't use that. If it's greater than max employees, if the amount to add plus this function that gets the number of employees that we already have at the restaurant, if it's greater than our max employees, then, well, if it's greater, we're going to have a problem, eh? Let's say if it's less than or equal to. We're going to do that first one. If it's still less than or equal to our max employees. If it's equal to, if you add what you want to add and how many people there are already, and you're equal to your maximum, which is 40, then you can go ahead and do, you can go and add employees. So it says here, then call the relevant method to increase the number of employees. What is a relevant method to increase the number of employees? We go to our class definition and we see there's a method here called increase num employees, and it's a procedure. So that means you're going to write it like that, but you don't write increase number of employees. You have to write obj restaurant dot increase number of employees. So obj restaurant dot, if you type the object name and you click the full stop, increase number of employees, there it is. And over here we have to put in an integer, so we're going to put in I to add in that brackets there. We'll slot that in. There we go. What else do we have to do? Display the total number of employees in the updated edit box. Display the total number of employees in the updated edit box. So guess what? We're going to use get num employees again, because how else are we going to know how many number of employees there are? So the edit box is called edt updated dot text equals int to string. Now we're going to use get num employees again, that function that we used over here to get the number of employees. Remember the function in this class definition called get num employees? This instruction has already increased it. Now we're going to get the increased thing by calling this method again. Get num employees, this function, get num employees, there it is. Int to string, the object name, dot get num employees. Now know that get num employees is an integer, which is why you have to say int to string. Okay, so there's that. Right, if the number of employees cannot be added, then we can display a message in the edt updated box. The message will be exceeds maximum. So that's just examples of the output. Right, so we've got to have an else here. Else, else, we're going to display in edt updated.text. We're only doing one thing in the else part. Equals exceeds maximum. And there's the program written. Now Now because this else part is only doing one thing, you don't need begin and end, okay? But over here we had two things that we were going to do. If we add that to the get number of employees is less than or equal to max employees, then you're doing two things, else we do only one thing. Right, so that is that program written. So make sure you study that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow.